I'm very happy to be amongst all of you, and this wonderful retreat which was organized by His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj and so many wonderful devotees here. I'm very thankful to each and every one of them. See, retreats like these remind me of my childhood, because in my childhood I used to go to many weddings. And if you have been to, how many of you have been to an Indian wedding in your childhood? Please raise your hands. There's a lot of excitement in the Maya. And I went to many such weddings in the village. The excitement was that at the there will be so many nice mantra shlokas. People will be stealing things from each other. The money will be demanded for returning the stolen objects. So there was an entire package of things that were going on in the wedding, and different people come to an Indian wedding with different desires, and so different people come to the retreat with different desires. Dear devotees, alright. So here is a verse which tells us why different people come to an event with different desires. Please sing after me. Kanya varayate rupam Mata vittam pita shrutam Bandhavaha kulam icchanti Mishtannamitere jana. So in a typical Indian wedding, dear devotees, please visualize yourself. You are in a typical Indian wedding. There's a lot of noise everywhere and different people have different desires. Kanya, the main is the bride, the girl. Kanya varayate rupam, the girl, her desire is, I want a very beautiful husband, and I got that husband, dear devotees. Kanya varayate rupam. So she got beauty, she's looking at her husband. Wow, I'm going to spend the rest of my life looking at my trophy husband, So this is what? The Kanya, she got what she wanted. It was her first love and she succeeded in it. Alright, so Kanya varayate rupam. Kanya, the girl selected her choicest husband, she got him. Alright, Mata Vittam, her mother is more mature and intelligent. She wants that the boy should earn nicely, dear devotee. What will you do of beauty if you are poor, dear devotee? So, beauty is only useful for 2 days, and after looking at each other's face for 2 days, you will become bored of each other. What sustains life is, dear devotees, what?
Money.
No, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare No. What sustains life is money, dear devotees. So, Mata Vittam. So, mother is more mature. She wants my son-in-law should earn properly. Pita Shrutam, and father of the girl, he wants he should be very educated. Tomorrow, if he falls into some difficulty, he should have multiple lines of career. Bandhava, the immediate relatives, Kulam Icchanti, they want there should be a good family. We should be able to boast in front of others. You know whom she got married to, So Bandhava, Kulam Icchanti, and rest of the people, like myself, Mishtannam, come for the sweets. Dear devotees, Mishtannam itare jana. So rest of the people come for the sweets. So dear devotees, some of you might have come for Hari Katha, some of you might have come for Darshan, some of you might have come for wonderful kirtans in the evening, but you know what I came for. So that last one, that last smiling person is me, dear devotees. Mishtannam itare jana. So it reminds me of my childhood, because I was most excited for Mishtan. Mishtan is sweets. It was very simple Mishtan. We used to have what is called as Bundi. Bundi is as simple as you can get. There is nothing, the lowest common denominator of sweets is what you call Bundi. So there is nothing below that. But I was so happy that today I will get to eat Bundi. And that was how life was when I used to stay in the village. So this is the translation. Gaur Govind Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
The bride desires a handsome man, her mother desires a financially stable man, her father desires a highly educated man, the immediate relatives desire a man belonging to a good family, whereas all others, they simply desire to have a good sweets, in the wedding feast.
Yeah. So please raise your hands. How many of you are with me? How many came for the feast and this feast? Today is Sunday feast, right? Yes. All right. So please raise your hands, dear devotees. See, some are still shy, dear devotees. But we'll begin also with a quote by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing once again on Smaran. Prabhu, you'll have to kindly read what Srila Prabhupada says.
When there is hearing, there must also be speaking or chanting. So we speak and chant about Krishna, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. And as soon as one becomes expert in hearing and chanting, the next stage is Smaranam, thinking or meditation.
So next stage, as I said, not even half a syllable is useless. It is very important that after hearing and chanting, we go to the next stage. And what is that next stage, dear devotees? Smaranam. And Srila Prabhupada has said that. And after some time in our spiritual life, we should definitely make a move in that direction. So retreats like these are organized so that we can get a slight push in that direction. Finally, we also need to have our own self-study, our own realizations, our own selective verses, all of that. But dear devotees, as I said, so many rasas are there. 5 main bhakti rasas. What are the 5 main bhakti rasas, dear devotees? Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. And these different tastes are for different individuals. Not all individuals will agree to the same rasa. So we should not try to institutionalize a particular rasa within the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. It's very important for us to understand this. Because there are some like, Madhurya Bhav only and only, in Madhurya Bhav only what Sri Rupa Goswami gave and nothing else besides that. So all right, calm down. So it is very important that we understand Sri Rupa Goswami's personal choice was Madhurya Bhav and his personal inclination was towards serving Srimati Radharani, but he was very broad-minded in his presentation of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And when we accept the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we should accept the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as it is, not as I want it to be. Alright? So there are 2 Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, as it is and as we would like it to be. So we should accept Sri Rupa Goswami in the direct words of Sri Rupa Goswami. What does Sri Rupa Goswami say about the various bhakti rasas? Here is what he says directly. These are his own words. Please repeat after me. Yathotaram asau svada visheshollasamai api ratir vasanaya svadvi bhasate kapi kasyachet yatha uttaram asau swada vishesh ullasamayapi. Sri Rupa Goswami agrees. Sthai bhav is progressively tastier. Dasya is tastier than which rasa, dear devotees? Shanta. Sakhya is tastier than which rasa? Dasya. Vatsalya is tastier than Sakhya. And Madhurya is tastier than all of them. Swadamai, no problem. Still, Ratir, this Thai bhav, Vasanaya Swadvi, according to one's Vasana. What is the meaning of Vasana, dear devotees? I have translated it there. Vasana, innate devotional tendencies. That is Vasana. And how do we develop a particular Vasana? So, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan has explained in his commentaries, it is developed by previous unlimited lives of sadhu sangha that we have had, and he puts it in one term. Please repeat the term after me. Adrishta. The unseen sadhu sangha from previous lives has shaped our current vasana. So Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, accordingly, a particular vasana, innate devotional tendency develops. And then that sthai bhav, that rasa appears most tasteful to that particular person. And you may try to say that Madhurya Ras is the highest, but you cannot convince a person for whom Sakhya Ras appears the highest. You cannot convince a person. Sri Rupa Goswami in his own lifetime tried it with his own brother, Sri Anupam Goswami. What was the result? Success? No. not only Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried it with Murari Gupta. What is the result? Is it possible? No, it is not possible. So when it is not possible, dear devotees, there is no point of trying to, we can encourage devotees that, this is the highest, please try to taste this. And maybe they may become affected by this particular taste. But there is no point of creating an institution around rasas. Rasas are meant to liberate us, not meant to, make us into a closed group where we are the chosen ones and the other one, lesser mortals, you be happy with your rasa. Huh? So that sort of a mindset is not good at all. Dear devotees, you go to Sri Hanuman and try telling him Madhurya is the highest rasa. Then you will see which rasa. Then you will see a display of Veer Ras on the spot. So don't try with Sri Hanuman, alright? Because he will say in your Madhurya Ras, there is so much separation and crying and oh, who will go through all those painful emotions. I stay always with Bhagavan Sri Ram here. See, right here I am at his lotus feet. So, Dāsa is the highest. Many arguments can be given from all sides. But from a neutral point of view, we observe that Madhurya turns out to be the highest. But still, a person will not select Madhurya every time, just because it is in theory the highest of all of them. So this has to be understood very carefully. Because just as there is a cult around Kirtanam, there is a cult around Smaranam, there is also a cult around which rasa? Madhurya rasa. And there is a cult around Manjari Bhav, and then you get more and more specific. And if you are not exactly following in that very straight line that I have drawn, then I discard you. Are Baba, this is not how devotional relationships are meant to be. This is not how you live your life. Open your hearts and understand that it is a secular democratic universe and you are allowed to select a rasa which is according to your previous vasana. Alright, so this is very important for us to understand. Now Sri Rupa Goswami has said, now our tendency is, even if an acharya has said something, but because he has said something which I don't like, therefore I will be hesitant even in accepting something that an acharya has said. Sometimes we know that Srila Prabhupada has said something opposite to what I want, but we don't quote him. For the very reason, because even sometimes we mentally disagree with an acharya, although we don't muster up the strength to call it out in public and say, I don't like this so much. But I will add force to the statement of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada by quoting Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So let's add force to this statement of Srila Rupa Goswami by quoting Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his Bhakti Sar Pradarshini commentary on the same verse, the verse that we saw. So he says, Tan madhye kapi ratihi kasyachit bhaktasya prachina vasanaya swadvi bhasate. Amongst all bhakti rasas, a particular ras appears most tasteful to a particular devotee according to his specific vasana. Vasana, I have told you what is vasana, previous devotional tendencies. And those vasanas are created out of adrishta. What is adrishta? Unseen sadhu sangha from previous. So don't try to find out what happened in the past, because it is adrishta. It has gone in the window of the unseen, so you cannot recollect it right now. But, dear devotees, please, very important. Just as food rasas, so Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving the example of which rasas? Food rasas. And there are 6 food rasas, dear devotees. They are right here in front of you. What are the 6 food rasas? Sweet, sour, pungent, salty, astringent, bitter. So, amongst all food rasas, dear devotees, please raise your hand. How many of you like sour juices? Orange juice, please raise your hand. How many like sour? You are not bona fide. Everybody should like mango juice. Better align yourself properly with the most bona fide path of rasa. So dear devotees, you can understand what Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is trying to say. There are in bhojan, in food, there is no unity in which rasa you want, and you are trying to find unity in bhakti rasa. Best of luck trying for it. I hope that you don't spoil your relationships with the other devotees. So dear devotees, it is very important. He says, Amongst the food rasas, a particular rasa appears to an individual according to his vasana. Similarly, a particular devotee finds a particular bhakti rasa to be most appealing due to previous vasanas. See, dear devotees, sometimes a person in childhood, they are fed spicy food. When they grow up, they want only which type of food? Right. They can't appreciate bland food. And then some others grow up with bland food. And when they grow up, they cannot appreciate spicy food. Vasana, dear devotees. I hope you are able to understand vasana. But there is still one exception. It is also possible, you may have a previous vasana, but it is also possible before you get your prema, that some expert devotee can change your vasana, just as an expert chef can change your taste buds and dietary preferences. But if you find such an expert chef, then it is possible in this very life your dietary preferences may change. Alright, so this is what Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Otherwise, you are progressing on the path from your previous vasanas ahead in your devotional life. So I hope this clarifies what Sri Rupa Goswami was trying to say. So this is the conclusion that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. Dear devotees, therefore, once again, please repeat after me. Atah Śrī-Krishna-namādi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevonmukhe hi jihvadau swayam eva spuratyada. So the name, form, qualities or any rasa related to Sri Krishna cannot be grasped by the material senses. Only when we have a tendency for seva, and that seva is also in a particular rasa. That tendency comes from previous tendencies, and when that tendency for seva is recognized by Bhakti Devi, then she voluntarily descends on the senses and she bestows that particular bhakti ras to that devotee. Sri Rupa Goswami has said such a devotee is Ati Bhagyanam. We saw when I was answering your query, Ati Bhagyanam. Very fortunate person who has crossed the forest of the material world and crossed all the confusions and finally situated in the understanding that Bhakti Ras was what I was looking for. If a person has come to this point, dear devotees, you have overcome all other obstacles in life and you have arrived at the proper stage. Maharaj made a comment at the end of the previous talk. For some time we felt that all the material attachments are also have become insignificant and they will not affect you. And that experience is a direct experience, the devotees, which Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Rasa is used in that verse, dear devotees. Vishaya vinivartante. You may try to get rid of sense gratification by starving your body and senses. But you will not be able to get rid of rasa varjam. The taste for sense gratification you will not be able to get rid of, because that taste is known as rasa. But rasopi, even that taste for sense gratification will go away. Param drishtva, by seeing something param. What is the meaning of param? Higher. Param kim? Param rasam drishtva nivartate. Higher what? Higher rasa. When you see, you will immediately be able to give up the lower rasas. So that is a very important. So there when Krishna says param drishtva, param kim drishtva, param what? What does that param look like? So you have to supply the term from the previous line. What term do you have to supply? Param rasam drishtva nivartate. When you see param rasam, because you are attached to rasa, and therefore what can be higher than rasa is some bhakti rasa, and that bhakti rasa will free you from these attachments. And it is very natural. You will speak for yourself. I feel relieved of everything else. I am fully drenched in this ocean of bliss and I don't want anything from the world. How many of us would like to have this natural, organic detachment from the material world? So dear devotees, this is what Bhakti Rasa gives us. And it is very easily possible, but one has to be Ati Bhagyana. Ati Bhagya means one has to have that immense good fortune to come to the point that there is nothing else I want in life. Because if I want something else, I am in a Hare Krishna movement, people respect me, we are a big devotee, there is a post attached to me, and that is how I want to be remembered for the next 10,000 years. If those things are blocking my progress, I will never be able to come to the point where I realize that what in fact I finally was looking for was, what was I looking for, dear devotees? Bhakti ras. Raso vai saha rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. Only after attaining rasa does a jiva finally become happy. Dear devotees, this is the full circle. I started with raso vaisa. I brought you back to that circle, and this is what you finally want to have. Alright, dear devotees, enough theorizing. We should also now directly dive into some Smaranam, because the presentation is about Smaranam. So yesterday we saw some examples of Smaranam: Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela. We had all four in one verse. Does anybody remember whose verse it was? Sri Rupa Goswami's verse from the Padyavali, the second verse. Then we saw Smaranam of Guna, Leela, and Leela Smaranam. We saw a lot of that, dear devotees, and we are continuing that. Let's have some Smaranam of Gunas, dear devotees. Now this verse is from the Padyavali. It is in the meter Malini. It is originally composed by Sri Vyasadeva, but he composed it by hearing the statement of Draupadi Devi. Alright, so we will sing this verse. This verse is in the meter Malini. I will try to sing every line by breaking the line into two parts. Please repeat after me. Tamasira virivodhyam Majjatama plavana Plava iva trishitana Svaduvar Shiva Megha Nidhiriva Nidhanana Tivra Dukkhamayana Bhishagiva Kushalam no Dhatumayati Shauri. The Pandavas went through immense troubles when, especially in the court of the Kauravas, a gambling match was held and Yudhishthir lost the gambling match and Draupadi was humiliated in front of the entire assembly. There is nothing to live for after such a humiliation. If it was not for one personality who came at the end and saved her. And who saved her, dear devotees, at that point of time? Śrī-Krishna. Śrī-Krishna came and saved her. So somehow or other she could not be humiliated, but still that humiliation was enough, that she was dragged in the court in front of everyone. It was enough humiliation. And then, dear devotees, after that she was about to curse the entire Kaurava family, but Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhan, came and stopped her from cursing, and she gave everything back that the Pandavas had lost. After that, Duryodhan was still unhappy because he wanted to take everything away from Pandavas. So they organized, Duryodhan went to his father and told his father, organize another gambling match, otherwise I'll commit suicide in front of you. He threatened his father. So another gambling match was arranged, and this time the condition was whosoever loses will have to go 12 years to the forest and 1 year extra incognito, and if you are identified in that incognito stay, you will have to repeat 12 years and 1 year incognito. So Yudhishthir and Kauravas, they played the match, and at that point of time Shakuni, the expert dice player, he had made his dice out of his own father's bones, dear devotees, and that dice was a rigged dice. So when he played the dice and the final dice was played, Duryodhan won and the Pandavas had to go for 12 years in the forest. And when they went to the forest for 12 years, dear devotees, at that point of time when they were staying in the nearby forest, Duryodhan was still not happy. He camped near the Pandavas and he was cooking deer. And the smell of that, cooking deer went into the camp of the Pandavas. It is described in the Mahabharata. As if, he wanted to show that you forest dwellers have nothing in front of us. And at that point of time, Bhima became very angry. Yudhishthir somehow stopped Bhima on that day, but Duryodhan is not going to be happy till he rubs the nose of all the Pandavas in the dust. Another day, Durvasa Muni was invited, and Duryodhan's kitchen is very splendid. Everybody accepts Duryodhan's invitation except for Śrī-Krishna, dear devotees. Duryodhan's kitchen is very splendid, and Duryodhan arranges so many things for Durvasa and his disciples. And they all eat nicely, and then Durvasa says, wonderful, ask me anything you want. Well, there is a better feast every day at the cottage of the Pandavas, because they have Akshay Patra. But you should go after noon. Because he knew that Akshay Patra stops giving food after noon time. So Durvasa says, okay, if you are glorifying him so much, I will go and pay Yudhishthir a visit. Next day, Yudhishthir Maharaj is greeted by an informer, a secret informer who tells him that Durvasa Muni is coming with his thousands of disciples. Please prepare food for them. And Yudhishthir Maharaj understands that sun is already past noon. So Yudhishthir Maharaj understands that it is a trap laid by Duryodhan, so that if Durvasa is unhappy, Durvasa will do something inauspicious to them. Dear devotees, at that point of time, Draupadi Devi is completely dejected at mind, and she is looking at that route. There are many routes. She is looking at that route which goes to Dwaraka. And she is thinking, if only we could go to Dwaraka at this point of time and say something to our Bhagavan Śrī-Krishna, who rescued us in all the situations. Today I don't know what is going to happen, because certainly we will be cursed. And dear devotees, from that distance in that route which goes to Dwaraka, she suddenly sees dust rising. And from that dust rising, suddenly a chariot comes near. And when the chariot comes near, the personality who gets down from the chariot is Śrī-Krishna. At that time, Draupadi utters the verse. Please repeat after me. Tamasira viribodhyan. Tamasi, in the middle of the night, the sun doesn't rise. Dear devotees, does the sun rise in the middle of the night? No. But for me, the sun rose in the middle of the night today. For me, the sun rose in the middle of the night today. Majjatama plavanam. And when people are drowning in the middle of an ocean, usually boats don't fall from the sky for them. Do boats fall from the sky for people who are drowning in the ocean? But plava iva, but today it is as if boats fell from the sky for those of us who were drowning. Svaduvarshiva megha. And people who are walking in the desert for days and days and about to die from thirst, do suddenly clouds appear exactly over their head and shower water, dear devotees? Does it happen? But today for me in this desert, a cloud appeared directly over my head and showered water for me. Nidhiriva nidhanana. Dear devotees, does a beggar while walking on the street suddenly strike his foot against a big casket of gold? Does it happen usually, dear devotees? No. But today, for me who is a beggar, I struck my foot against a big casket of gold as if this has happened. Tivra dukkha mayana. And dear devotees, does it happen that a person who is about to die from a fatal disease, that in the last few moments, does it often happen that in the very last few moments, a doctor comes and immediately rescues them? Does it happen, dear devotees? But for me, as if in my final moments, a wonderful doctor came and revived me and rescued me from death, because Kushalam no datum ayati shauri. Shauri, Śrī-Krishna is here. And he will ensure all auspiciousness for me now. I am very confident of this. So dear devotees, at that point of time, Śrī-Krishna came in front of her And then Sri Krishna looked at Draupadi and said, "It's okay, I'll take care of the situation. Do you have the Akshay Patra with you?" "Yes." "Please get it." "But Krishna, there is nothing inside it." No, there is something inside it. You please get it." And so the Akshay Patra was bought, and there was one last hanging piece of coriander, and that last hanging piece of coriander Bhagavan took, and Bhagavan said, "Oh, wonderful, I am fully satisfied, my trip from Dwarka is successful." And tasmin tushte jagat tushtam, when Krishna is satisfied, everyone is satisfied. Therefore, all Durvasa Muni, along with his thousands of disciples, felt immediately satisfied and ran away from their devotees. This is what Draupadi experienced. You can see she is crying there. And you can see Śrī Krishna. So please read the translation.
Krishna, who is like a sun rising in the darkness, like a boat to the drowning, like a rain cloud full of sweet water to those dying of thirst, like fabulous wealth to our poverty-stricken, and like an infallible physician to those afflicted with the most painful disease, has come to grant auspiciousness unto us.
So, dear devotees, if you are empathizing with Draupadi, you will be crying at this point of time. Alright, those of you who are at least in your mind, you will cry, because it is very important to empathize with certain characters when a particular scene is drawn in front of you. And that is what you call rasa charvan. Rasa charvan means chewing upon a particular feeling that the previous acharyas have given us. Dear devotees, if you cried at least once, that is the success of my presentation. I am very happy that all of you, if I was able to even move a little bit of your heart, it is big success, because it is not very easy to have these sorts of experiences, to create these sorts of experiences in an audience. The devotees will move ahead. Now we will go to Smaran. See, I don't want to make people cry here today. Alright, I have not come for that. But I have come to make people smile and laugh. Last time there was a lot of crying, a lot of crying. And so that is also good, but I don't like, this is the last day of the seminar and I don't want to, leave it at that. But I could have said, Krishna goes to Mathura and Krishna went to Dwarka, never came back. But from yesterday's Katha, Maharaj's Katha, actually, Krishna comes back and, Maharaj told, there's so much Tattva is also there. And there's also a secret in Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Krishna came back after 3 months. Alright? There is a secret mentioned in the Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Krishna came back after 3 months of separation. But that 3 months is also torturing us, and therefore we don't want to hear so much about it. But my presentation will be focused on past times of union, not so much on past times of separation. Although separation is the topmost joy in this world. Alright? It is the topmost joy in this world. So when Maharaj is speaking about separation, please don't think that he is putting all of us in pain. He is giving us the topmost pleasure. But he will also give samadhan. He will also give reunion of Radha and Krishna. So all of you will be happy, dear devotees. But let's go to Smaranam. Another example of Smaranam. This time, let's have Smaranam directly by Srila Prabhupada. Alright? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alright, Prabhu, Govind Prabhu, you have to read. This is a conversation between Bob Cohen and Srila Prabhupada. And dear Prabhu, I will read what Bob Cohen, who is now Brahmatirth Prabhu, said, and you read what Srila Prabhupada said. Alright? Is Krishna attractive to rascals?
Oh yes. He was the greatest rascal also.
So, this is a wonderful way of decorating. I told you Gali is very important in Sri Vrindavan. It's very important, Gali. And Gali often comes from a person who loves Krishna. So now you see here an example of Gali. And Gali means loving, abusive word. And that only comes from a person who considers Krishna as one of his own. So Krishna was also the greatest rascal, and this Gali Prabhupada liked very much, dear devotees. Often, if a scientist also does something wrong, what will be the scientist? What will he call the scientist? Rascal. And then, dear devotees, this one Gali includes many feelings. They are all included in this one. But Srila Prabhupada also, he referred to Sri Krishna like this. We are of course in the parampara of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who also gives gali, and we also give gali every morning. Ashlishyava pad ratam pinashtumam adarshanan marma hatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatu. What is lampato? What is lampato, dear devotees? Debauchee. I also said there is a term in English, Old English, libertine. Alright? Somebody should search for it and go through while you have time. After this, when you have time, you search for libertine and we'll ask you the meaning of libertine. Alright? Let's continue the conversation. How is that?
Because she was always teasing the gopis.
Wow, wonderful. You are bringing out the anubhavas of Srila Prabhupada. Laughing is an anubhav. I hope you are able to understand. Laughing is an anubhav, an after effect of experiencing bhakti ras. So Prabhupada laughs and says, I told you, Hasya ras is the very close companion of which ras? Shringar ras, Madhurya ras. So as soon as Prabhupada is thinking of Madhurya ras, immediately Hasya ras becomes available as a companion. So we are doing a rasa analysis of Srila Prabhupada. See, so dear devotees, Prabhupada starts laughing, and then Prabhupada says, because he was always teasing the gopis. Another devotee, Sri Shyam Sundar Prabhu, says, teasing? So he is puzzled. Teasing, what is the meaning of teasing? Yeah, please.
Yes. Sometimes when Radharani would go out, Krishna would attack her, and when she would fall down, Krishna, don't torture me in that way. They would fall down and Krishna would take the opportunity to kiss her. So Radharani was very pleased. But superficially, Krishna was the greatest rascal. So unless rascaldom is in Krishna, how could rascaldom be existent in the world? Our formula of God is that He is the source of everything. Unless rascaldom is in Krishna, how can it be manifest? Because He is the source of everything.
Alright. So, dear devotees, please raise your hands. How many of you want your Bhagavan to be a number one rascal? Please raise your hands. And those of you who have not raised your hands, we'll gift you with a perfect gentleman who never makes mistakes, never speaks any lie, never goes to sleep, never closes his eyes. That is Bhagavan Vishnu in Vaikuntha. That perfect gentleman. But dear devotees, those of us, we should know this fact. Krishna is imperfect in Dwarka, more imperfect in Mathura, and most imperfect in Sridham Vrindavan. That is the Krishna we would like to fall in love with, dear devotees. This is Smaranam of Śrī Krishna Lila. By the way, so many learned Vaishnavas here. Can anybody tell me which book this pastime comes from? That's the book name of the Prabhupada book. But which previous Acharya? That I can read it. But it comes from Sri Rupa Goswami or Sanatan Goswami or some Raghunath Das Goswami. All Vaishnavas, learned Vaishnavas, please tell me. The pastime where Krishna jumped on Sri Radha and then there was kissing, as Prabhupada says, and she shouted out, Krishna, don't torture me in this way. No reference? Oh, yeah, dear devotees. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, Sadhakanam anubhavam eva pramanam. The experience of the learned devotees is the praman in this regard. Here is a pastime which you will not find in any of the 6 Goswami literature. But it came from Srila Prabhupada himself. And Anubhavam eva pramanam. Here, the experience of the Rasik devotee itself is considered as praman. You are in the domain of Raganuga Bhakti, don't start asking Shastra Praman all the time. Alright? That is reserved only for Vaidhi Bhakti.
But you asked for the book.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now you can say, henceforth, it is from perfect questions, perfect answer. But there is no previous source attached to it, so we don't know where it came from, but it must have come from the Samadhi. The only logical answer is these things come from the Samadhi of the devotee who is absorbed in Madhurya Rasa. It's also a very important fact how much Srila Prabhupada was absorbed in which rasa, dear devotees? Madhurya Rasa, thinking about Shri Radha and Krishna. So it's a very important factor that Srila Prabhupada always used to think like this about Shri Radha and Krishna, and he was always absorbed in this particular rati. Dear devotees, alright, let's move ahead. We have had Nama, Rupa, Guna, and then we should also have what, dear devotees? Leela. So some Leela should also be there. Let's remember Smaran of Purva Rag Leela. Purva Rag is what, dear devotees? Purva Rag is a stage when Sri Radha and Sri Krishna exchange first glances with each other, and that first attachment develops between both of them, but they cannot freely meet each other because society is a big hindrance in the meeting of two lovers, and we need such a society. If you have a free society where anyone can meet anyone at any point of time, Purva Rag will be fully destroyed, because there are no challenges to meeting, and when there are no challenges to meeting, you can just go on Facebook, or what do we have nowadays, Instagram, and look at a particular person's profile for 10 minutes and I don't like her. So previously you would have to get married to a person to find out that you don't like her. See, some people's pain came out in the form of laughter. Yeah. So, dear devotees, we empathize with everyone. But
Madhurya is very close to Hasya.
Yeah, Mother is very close to Hasya. So, dear devotees, previously the society was very restricted, and restricted society is needed for love stories to blossom. Even in the material world, all the great love stories that you have in the Western world, please tell me all the names of all the great stories in the Western world. Romeo and Juliet, all right. Any other? Okay. So, I'll tell you some. Nal Damayanti, Shantanu, Ganga, all those are. Or from India I'm telling you. From India, Nal Damayanti, Ganga and Shantanu. And then there was this Urvashi and what was his name? Pururava. Pururava and Urvashi. And he was crying haplessly behind her, So all these love stories took place when society was restricted. And after society opened up, you don't have any love story. Guess why?
No restrictions.
There are no restrictions, so there is no possibility of love blossoming. I hope you are able to understand. So love blossoms in a closed environment. You cannot have love blossoming in such an environment. So therefore, previously society was like that. She looked at Śrī Krishna, and that is the ideal society, dear devotees. For the society in the spiritual world is designed in such a way that the love will be facilitated. Love will not be obstructed. So one fine day, she was walking on the banks of Yamuna, and then she saw this particular person for the first time, and then she immediately ran away from there. There's a reason why she ran away from there. But when she came home, she told something to her friend. This verse is in the meter Shikharini, same as Jagannathashtakam. I'll try to sing. Please sing after me. Akasmadekasmin pathi sakhi maya munatatam Vrajantyadishto yunav jaladharasya amalatanu Sadrik bhangya kim va gurudana he jane tata idam Mano me vyalolam gwajana griha kritye na lagate Shikharini. So the name of the meter should fit within the meter. This is a rule of Sanskrit metrics. So Shikharini will fit within the meter Shikharini, and Shardula Vikriditam will fit Shardula Vikriditam. So the name will fit inside the meter. That is the rule. So this is the verse in the meter Shikharini. Sri Rupa Goswami describes Sri Radha came back and told her friends Lalita Vishakha, Akasmade kasmin pathi. One fine day, that day I was walking on that path, and that is our path. That is my path of walking. Sakhi Maya, and oh Sakhi, I saw someone. Where did you see? Yamuna Tatam. I saw on the banks of the Yamuna. Vrajantya, as I was walking. Drishto yo, I just glanced at him, and he was not looking at me. I just looked at him, and when I saw him, Navajaladhara Shyamalatanu, his body was like that fresh rain cloud. I immediately got attracted to his complexion and the way he looked. But such a crooked person. Sadrik bhangya kimba kurutana hi jane. Suddenly, he gave me that crooked sidelong glance. As if he was telling me, I noticed you looking at me. I know you have fallen for me. I know the weakness of your heart. Dear devotees, see what he did to her. It's a very approximate representation of what happened. So he looked at me with that crooked sidelong glance, and I don't know what happened. I fell in a rapture of love at that point of time. Mano me vyalolam, my mind is now swooning around in that rapture. Kvachana griha kritye na lagate, and I am not able to perform any household duties anymore. I don't know what has happened to me. This, dear devotees, is Sri Radha's Purvarag. Please read the translation.
Dear Sakhi, one fine day, as I was walking down the banks of the Yamuna, I saw a person whose complexion was dark like a fresh new rain cloud. I do not know what strange magical spells he cast on me using his sidelong glances. Since that time, my mind is constantly spinning around and does not take any interest in performing any household chores.
So, as Prabhu was saying, haunted by a ghost. So that this is what happens. And there is a verse in the Padyavali where it is said, Kadamba taru maru devata. Some ghost haunted me when I was under that Kadamba tree. There is another verse. So that, dear devotees, is what is happened here. And dear devotees, then Sri Radha is not satisfied with that. Then next day she is meditating again and again upon that form. And then she ends up saying something to her Sakhi next day. Dear devotees, this is what she says. This is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam. I will try to sing. Please repeat after me. Indi varodar sahodar medura Shri. 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 Vasodravat kanaka vrindane bhamdadana. Vasodravat kanaka vrindane bhamdadana. Amukta mauktika manohar har vaksha. Amukta mauktika manohar har vaksha. Koyam yuva Jagadanangamayam karoti. Koyam yuva Jagadanangamayam karoti. So she started describing, because her friend has to draw painting. As I was saying, her friend has to draw painting. Chitra Sakhi has to draw painting. So she started describing. Indi varodara sahodara medura Shri. His Shri, his effulgence was like the effulgence that comes from a big group of blue lotus flowers. If you put many blue lotuses together at night, and that effulgence is a very soft effulgence. Medura means it's a very soft effulgence. It's not like the piercing bright effulgence. Krishna can even show that, and he showed that in the assembly of the Kauravas. But this was a very soft effulgence, as if a host of blue lotus flowers are put together. And Vasodravat Kanaka Vrindanibham Dadhana. And he was wearing that brilliant silk cloth. I don't know where he got it from, that brilliant yellowish silk cloth. And Mukta Mautika Manohara Hara Vaksha. From his neck, there was a brilliant pearl, necklace which was dangling freely, as freely as he walks. Devotees. Koyam Yuva. Who is this person? Who is this young person? Jagad Anangamayam Karoti. My Jagad, my universe, he has made full of Ananga. Ananga, dear devotees, is that entity who does not have a body. Kamadev, Cupid, his body was burnt by Bhagavan Shiva. From that day onwards, Kamadev, Cupid is known as Ananga. My entire world is filled with Kamadev. My entire world is filled with this God of love. Everywhere I go, I am only seeing Kamadev. Everywhere I go, I see only desires. There is a famous saying in Hindi that Savan ka andha hara dekhta hai. That one who goes blind in the rainy season, when there is so much greenery, he remembers only greenery for the rest of his life. I hope you are able to understand. So one who goes blind, by seeing the dark rain cloud everywhere, he sees only that dark rain cloud. So this is the condition of Sri Radha at this point of time. Dear devotees, this is the translation. Please read.
His effulgence is as soothing as the effulgence emanating from the whirl of blue lotus. He wears clothes that resemble brilliant molten gold. A necklace of pristine pearls hangs liberally from his neck. Dear Saki, who is this young boy? His anga, body, is making the entire world completely ananga, devoid of body, full of Cupid.
There is a hidden meaning behind the verse, dear devotees. While I am explaining the hidden meaning, Prabhu, please look up the meaning of libertine on your phone. You have internet? And then I will ask you after I explain the hidden meaning. Alright? So, the hidden meaning behind this verse is as follows. You can see Ananga, dear devotees. Anga, what does Anga mean, dear devotees? Body. Ananga means without body. So my entire world, he is making Ananga. He is making full of that Cupid who doesn't have a body. Hidden meaning behind the verse. The entire world he is making Ananga. He is liberating them from their material bodies simply by his presence. Dear devotees, the poet has hidden a meaning behind the verse which is also applicable to the sadhakas, to the practitioners. Simply by a glance at him, the entire world will become Ananga, free from a material body and get liberated. Alright? Do we have the meaning of libertine? Please read in the mic.
A libertine is especially someone who ignores or even spurns the accepted morals and forms of behavior observed by the larger society.
Yeah, so that is a person who ignores the larger norms or morals of behavior followed in the society. Dear devotees, therefore we have Sri Krishna in the form of that Nagar. Nagar is a term, and Nagar can roughly be translated as libertine. Alright? Translations often are not exact, so libertine is an accurate term for translating what Nagar is, and that is what Sri Krishna is. Now here Sri Radha is also facing, she is suffering from Purvarag. Purvarag is a stage of separation. And Krishna is also having Purvarag. Dear devotees, Krishna is having Purvarag. And there is a very near and dear friend of Sri Krishna who detects Purvarag in Sri Krishna. Who is that near and dear friend of Sri Krishna? Madhumangal. Dear devotees, Madhumangal is Brahman. Brahman is expert at detecting what is going on. He has read the Shastra. Samudrik Shastra, body language, tells me, Krishna, something is wrong. Krishna, tell me correctly what happened. Is everything okay? No, everything is okay. No. Tell me, Krishna, you fell for the daughter of Maharaj Vrishbhanu, right? No, nothing like that. So, at that point of time, Krishna ends up saying something to his Sakha, Madhumangal. Please sing after me. Tasya sakhe mukha tushar mayukha bimbe Duran mamakshi padavim adhirudha matre Nirbandhata shabata koti virambayaham Nitakshanadaha sadmani bhojanaya Tasya sakhe mukha tushar mayukha bimbe. Sakhe, oh friend. And it's a very informal, alright? Sakhe, oh friend. Oh buddy. Mukha tushara mayukha bimbe duran mamakshi padavim adhiruda matre. See how he describes the first glance of Sri Radha. When her full moon-like face arose in the eastern horizon of my eyes for the first time. Dear devotees, this is how Krishna describes. When her full moon-like face arose in the eastern horizon of my eyes. By this very statement we can understand you have fallen for her. Nothing more is needed. But when the full moon of her face arose for the first time in the eastern horizon of my eyes, at that very moment Mother Yashoda came and she understood something was wrong and nirbandhataha shapatakoti bir, she stopped me. Nirbandha, Krishna, chalo come back home. Shapatakoti bir, Krishna, I give you a promise. Come on, quickly, come home. Why should I come home? Sadmani bhojanaya. You have to eat food, chalo. For Mother Yashoda, any time of the day is good time for eating food. Chalo. This common excuse works everywhere. So he revealed his heart, but he said he didn't reveal his crookedness. I gave her a crooked glance, and because some things you don't even tell your friends, dear devotees. So that is what has happened here. And this is Śrī Krishna. I told you his heart is crooked. She is not like Śrī Radha, she told everything to her friends, this is what happened. Very crooked person. Crooked people, later in life, they become lonely and suffer. I hope you are able to, isn't it? This is what happens with crooked people. Later in life, they are very lonely and they suffer through loneliness. Therefore, dear devotees, never be crooked. Alright? If you want to select a master who is not crooked, select a master who is very straightforward, dear devotees. So better to select whom as your master, dear devotees. Srimati Radharani is there. Because don't stay under crooked person. Alright, Prabhu, read the translation.
O friend, alas, as soon as the image of her moon-like face arose in the horizon of my eyes, my mother came and took me away from there. She gave me millions of oaths, asked me to go back home with her and eat food.
Yeah, so this is what happened. Dear devotees, Sri Radha is also suffering. Now suffering doesn't mean material suffering, alright? I am just using the term. It is the highest enjoyment. But from our rasa point of view, Sri Radha is also suffering. Śrī Krishna is also suffering pangs of separation because Purva Rag is a stage of union or a stage of separation? Separation. They are not able to meet formally. One fine day, Sri Radha decides to make the first move. She writes a love letter to Śrī Krishna. This love letter is described by Sri Rupa Goswami in his literature. And Vishakha Devi, she brings this letter and she gives to Krishna, this is a letter for you. Alright, dear devotees, now if you understand how love letters are written, there was no name on that letter. So it was just given to Śrī Krishna and said, this is a letter for you. From whom? It's a letter for you, alright? So you take it. And Krishna understood where the letter has come from. So letters are written like this because later if the letter is caught, And then people are, who wrote the letter? We don't know who wrote the letter. So that is, nobody will claim responsibility of the letter. And this is how anonymous letters are written, dear devotees. This is the art of writing anonymous letters. So she wrote an anonymous letter. This letter is in the Shauraseni language, which Sri Rupa Goswami gives, and in the meter Arya. So this language is not Sanskrit. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translated it into Sanskrit, and therefore we are able to translate it today. Alright, so I will sing it. The meter is Arya. Please repeat after me. Dhari apadichanda gunam, Dhari apadichanda gunam, Sundara mama mandire tumam vasasi, Sundara mama mandire tumam vasasi, Taha taha runda sivaliyam, Taha taha runda sivaliyam, Jaha jaha chaida pala emi, Jaha jaha chaida pala emi. Dhari apadichanda gunam, Dhariya, Dhritva, having taken a padichanda gunam, beautiful form, Sundara mama mandire tumam vasasi, you are residing always in the temple of my heart, and Taha taha rundhasi valiyam, and wherever I try to run away from this image of yours, Jaha jaha, wherever I try to run away, Taha taha, there you come and surround me and block my path. So this is what, I am unable to run away from your image. Please do something to solve this. This is the indicated meaning behind the letter.
Assuming a beautiful form, you are now residing in the temple of my heart. In whichever direction I try to run away, you appear there and surround me with your presence. I'm unable to remove you from my heart.
Dear devotees, many days passed like this. Finally, by a divine arrangement, there will be first meeting. Alright, would you like to hear about the first meeting, dear devotees? Because it's separation, so much separation, we don't like separation so much. So, by divine arrangement, Sri Rupa Goswami describes one fine day, something happened, and this is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Can we sing together, dear devotees? Alright, let's sing together. Ahutadya mahotsave nishigriham Shunyam vimuchyagata Shiva preshya jana katham kulavadhu Ekakini yasyati Vatsatvam tadimam nayalayamiti Shrudva yashoda giro Radha madhavayor jayanti madhura Smera lasa drishtaya. One fine day, Mother Yashoda had organized a big festival at her home. Everyone was invited from all the places. Of course, Maharaj Vrishabhanu and Kirtida Sundari Devi were out of town that day, their devotees, but Mother Yashoda requested, at least can you send Sri Radha, for one person from your home can come. You may be going somewhere else. One person as a representative of your home can come. Alright, sure, she will come. Okay. So she came that day, and the festival went on for the entire day. Ahutadya Mahotsave, very good festival, Mother Yashoda is thinking. Arey, but it's evening time now. So it's evening time means, well, Sri Radha, you have to go back home. But Shunyam Vimuchyagata, Sri Radha, you have left that home, with that home is also empty. And now it is evening time. And so I have to send you, but Kshivaha Preshya Janaha. Kshivaha, all the other servants are busy at this point of time. Mother Yashoda is thinking, Kulavadhur, you are such a nice girl. Ekakini yasyati, how will you go alone? It is very difficult. What to do? So usually in Indian families, when the boy is sitting around doing nothing, so the mother calls the boy. What are you doing? Nothing? Come here. All right. So, Vatsa Tvam, Vatsa, dear boy, Tvam tadimam nayalayamiti. You make sure she reaches her home safely. It's evening time. You make sure she reaches her home safely. Okay. But I am afraid of the night. And so commentators say, Mother Yashoda said, no, don't worry. If you're afraid of the night, you can stay there and come tomorrow morning. All right? See, all of you are intelligent. Some things are spoken without spoken. So, Radha Madhavayor Jayanti Madhurasmera Lasa. So their eyes, Drishtaya, they did not smile through their face. Because if they smile through their face, Mother Yashoda will come to know. So they smiled through their eyes. And Krishna said, okay, no problem, as you wish. So this is the translation.
Yashoda thought, I have invited Radha for a festival. Nobody is at her home and she has come here by herself. But now she has to return back. All the servants are fully occupied in the festival. How will this chaste girl go back safely? She then said, Dear boy, you please safely take her back in the night to her home. Hearing this, the eyes of Radha and Madhava exhibited smiling, shy glances. May these smiling eyes be ever victorious.
Jai, devotees. So, Providence arranges for the first meeting, dear devotees, and this is very wonderful. Although technically the first meeting was when he lifted Govardhan and she looked at him, glanced at him freely. But we Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not happy with that. We should Shri Radha and Krishna should also find their own privacy, and that privacy was given to them by this arrangement of Providence. This is a verse from Sri Padyavali, dear devotees, a wonderful verse. But now, dear devotees, now they are meeting every day, they are talking to each other, and they lived happily ever after. All right?
No.
That's how it ends in all the love stories, isn't it?
Not this one.
Not this one. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Aheriva gati premana. Prema moves like a crooked serpent. Dear devotees, and if prema were to move in a straight line, then it is not prema at all. So there is a wonderful verse which has been taken from the Subhashitavali. I am quoting a verse from outside of Padyavali, but I really love this verse. This verse specifies the crookedness that prema takes, and this verse is in a very special meter, Harini. So I will try to sing this verse, dear devotees. And first I will break every line into 3 parts. And then you sing after me, then we will sing the entire line together. Alright? So please repeat after me. Samajaninata Prema tyaktam Yadishadabirshaya Samajaninada Prema tyaktam Yadishadabirshaya Smara sukha sakhi nasa virsha vina kalahenaya. Smara sukha sakhi nasa virsha vina kalahenaya. Nakhalu kalaha sonyonyamya prasadana varjita. Prasadana vidir naso yunam nayena vililyire. Prasadana vidir naso yunam nayena vililyire. Samajani natat prema. Prema is not prema. Dear devotees, love is not love. Tyaktam, if it is devoid of, Ishadapi irshaya. There should be little trace of possessiveness and jealousy. Otherwise it is not love. When there is love, there has to be a little possessiveness and a little jealousy. So that love is not love. Tyaktam yadi ishadapi irshaya. Little feeling of possessiveness, little jealousy should be there. Sometimes people say, if you really love somebody, you let them go free. And then they actually go free. So, when a mother loves her child, does she let the child go free, or does she make the child do what she wants him to do? So that is love, dear devotees. I hope you are able to understand. It's not, oh my child, I love you, so do whatever you want in the world. If a mother says like this, you will say mother doesn't have prema. She doesn't love her child. So similar is the case with love between in Madhurya Ras. Love, prema is prema. Prema is not prema if it is devoid of even some little trace of jealousy and possessiveness. Possessiveness, you are mine. So that possessiveness should be there, and you better behave as I want you to behave. Otherwise, you don't want to see what happens otherwise. Alright? So that is what prema is. Now, smara sukha sakhi nasa virsha vina kalahenaya. Jealousy is not jealousy if some quarrel is not there, dear devotees. How do you know there is jealousy? There should be some quarrel. So unless there is some loving quarrel, you don't know that there was some jealousy. Now, dear devotees, na khalu kalaha. Quarrel is not quarrel if it is not followed by the act of appeasement of the person who acted as the victim in the quarrel. So in a quarrel, somebody becomes the victim and somebody becomes the aggressor. So the person who becomes the victim, the aggressor has to then appease the victim. So quarrel is not quarrel if it is devoid of the act of appeasement. And dear devotees, prasadana vidhir nasau yunam nayena vililire. And appeasement is not appeasement if lovers do not meet each other and embrace each other at the end of the appeasement. So this, dear devotees, is how love moves in a very crooked direction. And a very wonderful verse as to how prema is in the spiritual world. And the wonderful verse, dear devotees, love is not love, which is devoid of what, dear devotees? Follow?
Restriction.
Jealousy or possessiveness. Jealousy is not jealousy if it is devoid of what, dear devotees? Quarrel is not quarrel if it is not followed by an act of appeasement. And appeasement is not appeasement if it doesn't unite both the lovers. It's very important to understand how prema moves. A very wonderful verse from the Subhashitavali, and it is by Sri Shiva Swami. Sri Rupa Goswami used to often quote Sri Shiva Swami in his Padyavali. So that from that same author, this is another verse. This was not quoted in the Padyavali, but from Sri Shiva Swami it comes from in the Subhashitavali. Wonderful verse which describes how prema moves. Dear devotees, so one fine day, Sri Radha decided to exhibit man. What is man, dear devotees? Anger, sulkiness, and this sulkiness, dear devotees, is exhibited by her. One fine day, Śrī Krishna wanted her to exhibit a little anger, and she understood Śrī Krishna wants this. So as soon as Śrī Krishna came in front of her, she gave him that look of anger, and Śrī Krishna became a little afraid as to what has happened. He wants that, dear devotee, he wants that, but she gave him that look of anger which he wants, and then she immediately gave him an order, go collect flowers from me from the garden and pick flowers from me, and white flowers, only white flowers, no other flowers. Quickly get to work. So it's all right, So he is collecting flowers, dear devotees. Every day she collects flowers for him. Now it's reversal, all right. So he has to collect flowers for her. So he is collecting flowers for her. He bought many flowers, and he is not an expert in flower collection. He doesn't know where to break the stem of the flowers. He is not an expert in flower breaking. So he bought those flowers back, and then she's again looking angrily at him. So now what happened? So at that point of time, the verse is in the meter. Malini, Sri Rupa Goswami describes. Please repeat after me. Ahamiha vichinomi Tvadgiraiva prasunam Kathaya kathamakande Chandi vacham yamasi Viditam upadhinalam Radhike shadhikena Priya sakhi kusumena Shrotramuttam sayami. So she's again looking angrily at him and he's saying, Aham iha vichinomi. I am plucking flowers from last 1 hour. I am, plucking flowers. Tvad giraiva, by your order. Kathaya, now tell me, Katham akande, without any, reason, without any genuine reason. Chandi. What does Chandi mean, dear devotees? How many of you know who is Chandi? So that is the fierce goddess of anger. So Chandi, oh angry one. Katham vacham yamasi. Vacham yama. Vacham yama means why have you suppressed your voice now? Why are you not speaking anything? So she looked again at him angrily. And then by her indication, he understood. Acha. Vidatam upadhinalam. Acha, I understood her. Sorry. Upadhinalam, don't be angry. Radhike shadhikena. Radhika shadi. Please instruct me. Priya sakhi kusumena. Which flower should I use to decorate your Shrotramutta, decorate your ears? So why did I ask you to collect flowers? Just for decoration? There was some purpose behind it. Flowers are for decoration. So decorate my ears. All right, as you wish. All right. So this, dear devotees, is Sri Radha's man and how he placated her man. Please.
Radha, by your order I had gone to collect flowers. O Chandike, fierce one, what happened now? Why are you sulky for no reason? I understand now, Radhike, my dear Saki. Please tell me which flower I should use to decorate your ears.
So dear devotees, in this way, there are so many pastimes of Sri Radha Krishna and they are described in the literature. I'll end with a verse which I like to quote often, which is from the Krishna Karnamritam of Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur. And there is no literature like Krishna Karnamritam because every verse you can unpack so much. There are 3 Gaudiya Vaishnava commentaries on the first 100 verses of Sri Krishna Karnamritam, but Krishna Karnamritam is actually 300 verses. And we have a Gaudiya Vaishnava commentary only on the first 108 or some verses like that. So there are 3 Gaudiya Vaishnava commentaries on that, and there is so much more to be explained in Sri Krishna Karnamritam. So much so that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Karnamrita samanahe. So there is nothing in these 3 worlds which is equivalent to Sri Krishna Karnamritam. So sometimes I am quoting Sri Padyavali often because Padyavali is sufficient to drown all of us. But we'll have one little last verse from Sri Krishna Karnamritam, dear devotees, where Sri Radha is complaining. This verse is in the meter Shadul Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Let's sing together, dear devotees. Urvyam kopi mahidharo lahutaro dorvyam dhrito lilaya tena tvam divi bhutale cha satatam govardhano dharaka tvam trailokya dharam vahami hridime naivatra tadganyate kim vaskeshava bhashanena bahudha punyaryasho labhyate. So Sri Radha, one fine day, she was just, you can see very quickly, she was just playing with Sri Krishna around Govardhan and she ended up saying something to him. Urvyam kopi mahidharo laguto. You are walking nowadays, you're very proud of yourself, especially after that pastime. You're walking around as if you are a big Maharaj, So you're a big king or something like that. Urvyam kopi mahidharo laguto. There was some small, sand hill somewhere, and you just playfully picked it up. Dhrito lilaya. And tena tvam divi bhutale, and all your followers on earth and heaven, sometimes people say even in the heavens they are praising you. And what are they calling you? Govardhano Dharaka, oh, lifter of Govardhan, lifter of Govardhan. Oh, wow. Tvam Trailokya Dharam. Sometimes some people like Gargamuni, they come and say that you also hold the 3 worlds, But they don't understand. Vahami hridhi mein, if you hold the 3 words on your head, I hold you in my heart, along with your Govardhan. Naivatra tad ganyate, but nobody counts that. Where is my popularity? Bolo? I should be 100 times more popular than you. My popularity is not there. And you are expert at snatching popularity from others. So Krishna started explaining, see, no. Kim va Keshava bhashanena Keshav? No word jugglery. I understood today. Punyair yasho labhyate. Good fame is attained only by pious activities, pious reactions from the past. The indication is that I have no piety remaining with me because I lost all of my piety in falling in love with you. So nobody will remember me after I am gone, and people will glorify you, Krishna. Who will remember me? Is there anybody to remember me? Dear devotees, even Sri Shukadeva Goswami won't mention her name in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Shukadeva Goswami will not mention her name. You Vaishnavas like to squeeze Aradhita, Anaya, that's all right. But Anaya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan. Is that how you spell the name of a person, who is the greatest devotee of Bhagavan? So even the Bhagavatam won't remember me. This is the translation, Prabhu. Kindly read.
In a small field somewhere, you playfully held up small hill using your hands. And now everyone on earth and heaven praises you as the lifter of Govardhan. I, however, hold you, the maintainer of the 3 worlds, in my heart, and yet nobody counts that at all. O Keshava, what is the use of speaking big words? Fame is acquired only by pious karma, which I have none.
So dear devotees, this was the complaint of Sri Radha to Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna did nothing to resolve that complaint. Nothing at all. Did not go to Dwarka and proclaim her name boldly. Did not proclaim the name of a single gopi in Mathura, in Dwarka. He never uttered the name of a single one of them. But what Krishna did not do, we should do, dear devotees. So therefore we should have a verse which glorifies Sri Radha. In all our deities, before Sri Krishna's name, whose name will be put? Sri Radha. In the Mahamantra, before Sri Krishna's name, whose name will be put? So dear devotees, everywhere will be her name, but this is also a chance to have a freshly composed verse, a newly composed verse for glorifying Sri Radha. Dear devotees, this verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Let's sing together, dear devotees. Mridvi halak rajadipti jayika sampushti darshasya sa tasmai rishta sudhamritabdhi janani teshyasya sadamshika Nitya Parshad samstuta vrajapate Satushti samsadhika Karunyamritamatanuttu nitaram Saradhika radhika. So this verse, dear devotees, is in glorification of Sri Radha. This is the translation, Prabhu. Kindly read the translation.
She soft-limbed, the conqueror of the beauty of the best of reddish lotus flowers, the bestower of spontaneous devotion on the devotee followers of the great souls, the producer of auspicious oceans of nectar for such devotees, the destroyer of the influence of Kali Yuga, eternally existing, comprehensively glorified by her associate, the complete arranger of the satisfaction of Rajapati Krishna. May that worshipper of Krishna, Shri Radhika, expand the nectar of her mercy constantly.
So dear devotees, this is the verse, and we'll put that verse, dear devotees, in front of us again. Here it is, in front of you. we'll plant the verse on a wheel, dear devotees. Alright? Will you help me plant the verse on a wheel? Yeah?
We'll try.
We'll try, alright? Please give me a Hari Bol if you would like to see the verse. Alright, dear devotees, the first line we will sing together and we will plant from bottom left to top right. Alright, let's sing the first line together. Mridvi halakaraj deepti jaika sampushti darshasya sa. This is line 1. Line 2 we will plot from top left to bottom right. Tasmai rishta sudhamritabdhi janani Tishyasya sadam shika. This is line 2. Line 3 we will plot from top to bottom. Nitya Parshada samstuta vrajapate Satushti samsadhika. And where we ended ka below, we will go clockwise. Please read clockwise from below. Karunyamritamatanottu nitaram Saradhika Radhika. Dear devotees, there is also a signature hidden within it, dear devotees, because it is essential to hide a signature within the message, especially within such drawings. So there is a signature hidden within it, dear devotees. You can see that in the third syllable in each of the spokes of the wheel, you have something, dear devotees. And in the sixth one also, Sampushyatu. So may Sri Radha fully nourish this insignificant servant, dear devotees. Alright? So this, dear devotees, is Smaranam in the Seva of Śrī-Krishna. And all those, I'm very so happy I have such a like-minded audience, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you. I'm very grateful, Maharaj, that you kindly organized this series of talks. I'm also very thankful to the organizing devotees, Vishwadev Prabhu, and he has his team, Gaura Hari Prabhu, Valentina Mataji, thank you so much, all the wonderful devotees. And Vaijayanti Mataji, thank you so much for taking care of so many things. And the devotees who are taking care of the Prashadam Advitiya, Balram Prabhu, and all the wonderful devotees who are, please excuse me if I forgot to mention anybody. All of you, I give equally your thanks, and thank you for kindly being present here today. The devotees who have come from so far away, and I am very thankful to each and every one of you. Please always keep me in your good wishes and prayers. And I hope that tomorrow morning will be the final class. So today evening is the Q&A session. Tomorrow morning will be the final class. We will have Bhakti Rasa, third part. We'll try to see some of the Gauna Bhakti Rasa, and also not only Gauna Bhakti Rasa. We also try to see which people are fit for relishing Madhurya Ras and which people are unfit for relishing Madhurya Ras. So we'll see that discussion tomorrow. But thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad gurureva me nahi. If there's anything mistaken, please correct any mistakes. But whatever was nice belongs to my Gurujanas, doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Hari Parshad Prabhu. We will keep the space for question and answer at 4:30. Please all be present, ready at 4:30 with this session. And then after that, we still have the Vrindavan Bhajan from 6 to 7, and then Maharaj will conclude from 7 to 8.